Go live. We're
Hello.
live.
We are live. Hopefully, I'll have the whole video this time.
Yeah. No kid. Oh, yeah, that's right. Last time it was like halfway through your video. It
Yeah.
was fine eventually. I mean, I could never see you. I think on the
Yeah.
edited episode, it was fine. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
I actually, it wasn't until I didn't even tell Tressa this. I just thought about it. But during the episode, when I was talking, and like the thing I love about the visual side of it is we can actually see each other. It's a real conversation. Like you can
Yeah.
read social cues, you can see eye contact. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can pick up the energy of the dialogue and like what's happening and how you're receiving the conversation or giving, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole thing. And I didn't realize my video was gone because when it does that, sometimes it does come back. And so I kept wondering, like, why you wouldn't make eye contact with me. I was like, why won't she look at me? Like, man, maybe I'm just like way off base. It is. I was like, okay, maybe we're not. I don't know what's happening. So when she told me she couldn't see me, I'm like, okay, that makes way more sense because I thought, okay, maybe she's just really sad and like really reflective and just listening. I don't know. Yeah. But then at the end, I realized. And so now it all makes sense
Yeah, because
as
I
to
didn't know
why.
you could still see I didn't know if you could see me because I couldn't
Yeah.
see you at all. So it was just yeah, it definitely made it harder because to your point, like, not to talk over you, the
Hmm.
visual aids are so helpful.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so fingers crossed that you stay on the whole time this time.
I think we're good. I think we're good
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Something
agree.
tells me I think we're fine. So it
Yeah,
was a ride.
and yeah, I think we'll be great today. One of the things we talked about, that we wanted to share with our listeners is we normally had done podcasts that were close to an hour. I
Hmm.
think we're gonna well, not think, we are changing our format to shorten them up to between 30, max 40 minutes because I think that's more digestible. You could commit to that a little bit easier. I think that's why our shorts perform so well on YouTube. Those
Hmm.
little clips, people's
Yeah.
attention spans are screwed these days because of our phones and all the things that we do, but, um, I think it'll be fun to try this. I think it'll be good for us, and I think good for the audience that loves us out there.
Yes. I agree. I agree. An hour is long. Yeah, it's long. And, I with the break that we've had, the universe demanded break, that kind.
Yes.
I've been sharing other pockets of Trusted too. I've just been really reflective and really thinking about like, okay, what am I giving my time and energy to in general? And sounds like Tress has been doing the same, like in sync with just life
Mhm.
and what comes from all of this and the waves of everything. And an hour is really fun. And I have the content we've produced that's been an hour is amazing. And I think it's exactly what needed to be done at that time. But I think like the best way that we can optimize and maximize the quality of our content is shortening it down. And then we're able to give out better content. We don't have to feel or, there's been times we've done episodes and have split them in half. We've done two different subjects. Like that could have been two separate episodes, but we were feeding a format. And so I like the idea of not trying to fill a space of time to just and it's never felt that way. Conversations are natural. We have a beautiful time and it ends up going smooth. But I like the idea of we're giving our best foot forward, at whatever kind of phrase you want to throw in there. And it's more of that quality content that's easier to digest. Unless you're in Wyoming and you're driving on road trips every other day, an hour is tough.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't even commit to an hour meditation. That's hard for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's crazy for me to expect people to listen to me yap for an hour, so
Yeah, one of the things I love to do is in the mornings when I'm getting ready, I'll put on a podcast or YouTube or something, and 30 if I find ones that are around that, if they're longer than 30 minutes, then, I listen to maybe half of it, and then I have to find time to listen to
Mhm,
the other half at some other point.
mhm.
Um, that's one of the things I love to do in the morning, set your day up with a cool message or a positive message that you vibe with, so,
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, so I'm excited.
I
Well, I'm
should start
excited
doing
for
that.
today. Myra's gonna be in charge of this.
Yeah, so Tressa had reached out to me while we were, like, brainstorming the future of the podcast. And on like my other half of my life, and this is just I'm very into learning. Like that's just all it is. I'm a learner. The end. I just really enjoy learning and digesting information, and I like to understand things and patterns and why we do what we do, either from an energetic lens or even if it's a psychological lens or even metaphysical, whatever, religious, whatever is like feeding into the why we're doing what we're doing, behavioral. But I've also really started deepening my understanding of astrology and numerology and birth charts. And there's a million other things too. There's like human design and there's a new one I saw the other day and I was trying to understand. It's like a life path number.
Yeah,
There's a
I've got my
yeah.
life path numbers.
Yeah, okay, and so, like, I don't even remember mine, but this is so funny. Okay, hang on. This is hilarious. Speaking of life path, when I did do my numbers one day, I told them to Blake, and I was reading about numbers, and I saw on Reddit, someone's like, "Yeah, it means you've been reincarnated with the same soulmate or same partner," and I have that exact life path, and Blake's like, "I get to be with you in every lifetime." I'm like, "Fuck." My response was
Surprise!
horrible. Yeah, I was like, "Buh," and he's like, "Well, love you too." And I'm like, "No, you're cool and all, but like, oh, I guess this is it." Anyways, that's just my response, like my typical kind of "but," and we laugh, but it was really funny. So Blake being Blake, that was like a shot to the heart because he's like, "Yay, like we're together in every lifetime." And I'm like, "Oh, we're together in every lifetime." But yeah, I don't know if I don't even know if what the Reddit thread was real or accurate or who knows, but it was
Who
just
knows?
funny because mine was exactly the same numbers to the like I don't even know. I don't know enough about it, so I can't talk too much about it. But anyway, so because of all of that, I had told Tressa doing astrology and like decoding a chart live is really fun too, but there's just a lot of nuances and like a lot of terminology. And if you're not familiar with it, you can get lost really, really fast. And so for this episode, I thought I would do personology, which I really like personology because it blends all of it. And so there's some astrological perspectives placed in here, and it's based on your birth date. So there's some numerology sprinkled in, and then there's other like constellation influences and star influence. And then there's like some psychological stuff too. But I took notes before because I told Tressa, I'm like, there's a lot. So I don't think I could off the cuff this like my normal BSing. But with this, I was going to, I guess what we'll do is I'll do the reading and we'll just dialogue it. But this is all about
Okay.
Tressa. So you guys can intimately know Tressa.
Yeah.
So
I
start
was like,
off.
"Give me a reading, that'll be cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to start, so Tressa's birthday, I'm just going to laugh through it. So I didn't go too deep into like year and everything, but we're just going to talk mostly about like, so Tressa is born on July the 13th, folks.
Yeah. Lucky
Lucky
number
13.
13.
Yes. So beautiful number. But what's really cool is that even though you're born on the 13th, your decadent ruler is your sun is in Cancer, which is for those out there, if you don't know anything about astrology, Cancer is the zodiac sign on this date. It's the constellation when Tressa was born, the sun was in this constellation of Cancer. So
Mm,
that's what that means. And she has other placements and things too, if we were more on the astrology side, but I'm not going to go too far deep into that at this moment. But anyway, so her ruler is Cancer, but she has a sub influence of Pisces, which is actually really interesting. So Pisces is also a very intuitive constellation. It's also it is a constellation, but a astrological sign. But it's also a water sign. So you have
2 water
you have a
signs.
two water signs, like the sub influence happening on this date. And what happens though, it's kind of like when you're born, if you're born at certain degrees, you can have this influence of other signs. So even though you're a Cancer, you've got this sub influence of Pisces. So like there's these
Mm,
other pieces of
mhm.
it in your sun sign, which is fun. And this really means like your core energy is like you're not meant to live a small life. Yay. But
I'm
some of
not
the
meant to
things
live a small life.
no, you're meant to be big, girlfriend. But because of a lot of this too, you balance between sensitivity and ambition. So it's like this duality between being sensitive, but also being ambitious. And because of that, like this can make you very imaginative, idealistic, but you also can absorb the energy around you. Like, and so I just want to make this clear, folks. None of this is all for entertainment purposes, but also like this is very like it's a very positive reading. There's nothing negative here, but there are like we all have shadow sides, right? Like we all have these like strength and weaknesses that can be part of what makes us who we are. So Tress is self-aware enough. I felt very
Mhm.
comfortable. I hope you
Yeah.
with this. So I just want to make that clear too before we continue. And so because of that, like shifting and picking up on what's going on around you and the atmosphere around you, this can also make you very intuitive, protective, and you could be just really emotionally aware, but you're deeply impacted by your environment. So like for example, if you're in a healthy relationship, you're going to feel very healthy and you're going to feel very vibrant. But if the relationship's super toxic, you're just going to pick up on the energy and you're going to just start absorbing the energy and potentially, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I know you. And potentially, if you hadn't created boundaries earlier in life, this could have been more heavily influenced in like early years of your life before you started really understanding that you're
Mhm.
picking up on everybody's shit and how to like building boundaries around your emotional and intuitive place because you are an absorber. Like you just naturally are going to absorb into energies. And because of that though, you're also able to share and communicate and inspire people because you are idealistic and you have this friendly nature. And so like life could knock you over. You could get slammed in the like boom, shake the room because you feel but you feel it all. So
Mhm.
you might cry or you're processing, but you get back up and you keep moving. And so this is emotional courage. It's not emotional avoidance. So it's more of like, and I think it's interesting because we've had millions of grief and grief surrounds
Yeah.
us, grief episodes, right? And like we talked about crying and processing and feeling the emotions. And I remember the episode where you talked a lot about like what happened with your dad and like you did not actually feel the emotions. And so when you finally did, someone tried to shut you down. And so I thought it was really cool. Like that came to me emotional courage, not emotional
I
avoidance.
love
So,
that.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're not avoiding, like, it's the courage to actually feel it, and to actually
Yeah.
process it and to get back up and keep going. So, also, a lot of Tressa's reading, this is a lot of like, well, duh. But courage kept coming up. Like the word courage just kept coming up a lot. And one of the things too, based on your birthday and all of like these different components, what kept coming up too is like you go where others won't. So, like emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, or even like professionally. And like this is also a heavy influence in like if I didn't know Tressa and I was just reading Jim Bob off the street, I'd be like, okay, you're a psychic or you're very intuitive because the emotional and the spiritual depth that you're willing to go, you're willing to cross into these areas that a lot of people won't or they won't feel comfortable going into or maybe don't know how. And so you're like naturally kind of born to be in these depths and like it's a really cool thing. So, and potentially before you knew what all that was, you probably knew a lot of shit before you knew the why. Like you
Yeah.
probably were getting downloads and stuff and didn't know like you know what I mean? Like who knows? I don't know how they come through. I know a little bit about how you receive information, but you could have before you knew what it was and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? But you just knew. You just have always
Yeah.
known. So when did you start your spiritual journey?
Well, I was around 38, 39. That when all the trauma what
Yeah.
actually I kinda shared that when all of that kind of came to the surface, and, I found that, counselor that really used a lot of the metaphysical stuff. So, that's where it started. So, gosh, that was I'll be 54, so well over a decade ago,
Yeah.
15,
So
16 years.
based on this, I thought so.
Mhm.
It says, okay, so like based on everything, one of the notes around the age of 39, your son moved into more Virgo. And this is when you became more orderly and discriminating. I don't know, discriminating is an interesting word, but that was kind of how it described it. But it's a desire to be of service, to just be of service. So like I thought that was really interesting. And Virgo when you think about Virgo and the sign of Virgo, if anyone out there is listening and you have Virgo placements, it's very strategic. You're very it's optimizing. Virgo placements are also healers. They're also very like of service. Virgo's very of service. Very orderly to, like it says, orderly cleaning. That's even like a weird example of it, like very tidy, neat, structured. So it's interesting. So that all kind of happen around that age. And this is saying, like based on these things, this is saying like 69, your sun can move more into Libra. And this is when like relationships could really play a larger role in your life. So like some relationships and partnership, but relationships will hold a significant influence.
Mhm.
And like something about like the word I kept getting when I was reading it is more like beauty, art. I don't know, something like that. Like those things will become more important.
'Kay.
So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah,
Call
we'll
me at
see.
69.
Yeah, keep
But
me
the
posted.
39 was crazy. I was like, bet it. I thought so, but I
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
sure. And I was like,
pretty
I
much it.
think, yeah. Also, too, it says like around 9, your sun was more in Leo, and like this could have been a period of your time of your life where you might have become more dynamic or a little more positive and confident. So I don't know. You'd have to go back in the Rolodex of Tressa at 9, but
Yeah, trust
you
me.
know, but the 39 was crazy. I was like,
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
when that was. Okay, so
yeah,
I'm gonna
it
flip
really
my
is.
page of notes. Okay, because of all of these influences, Tressa is very you notice energy. Yes, you do. So like for example, like you walk into a room, you're gonna know who's upset, who's hiding something, who you can trust, who's uncomfortable. And that is where some of the life lessons and learning has potentially had to come from, is learning what's Tressa and what's everybody else. And so, like, what is actually you and what are you really feeling and what are you just picking up on around you and the emotions or energies around you. And so, again, talking about like when you were younger, I'd already said this, but like this could have also created emotional overwhelm if you just didn't know what the fuck was happening. Like, why am I feeling all these feelings? And this was interesting. I wrote this down, but I thought it was interesting. I wrote like it might not have, instead of it really being anxiety or anxiousness, it could have been everyone else's energy.
Mhm.
And you've talked about like your
Yeah,
struggle, or I don't like the word struggle, I shouldn't say that, but like you're the party of anxiety
yeah,
and
yeah,
like really
yeah,
working through that.
yeah.
And I thought that was just interesting. Like when I was writing it down, like that came to me and I wrote it down and I was like, huh, like there could be some influence of that too. Like,
I could see that because back then
yeah.
I wasn't aware of the way I am now of somebody else's energy versus my energy,
Mhm.
you know? Or even how to because understanding that I feel it, not taking it on as mine, you know? So, it
Yeah.
definitely could have played into it.
Yeah. I don't know. So, new thought, different perspective. Also, too, I wrote the hidden self. I don't know. I don't like that term, but whatever. It's or like the secret self, you know. So, like on the outside, you might not appear this way, but this is some of your like feelings or desires that exist. You are someone who naturally wants to build, like you want to build things or do things, but you also, based on all of this information, you're naturally entrepreneur. I can't say it, but you're an entrepreneur. And I was like, oh, that fits because I think about like what you've done in like I think about all of the levels of leadership you've got, or like roles and positions and leveling up, and it's just a constant level up. And it's if you're not doing that, you've started your own business, you've done, you're doing your healing work, and then inside of that vein, you didn't just stop at one modality, you learned other modality, like
Yeah.
multiple ways to build. And so I thought that was pretty spot on. And then leadership and ambition, but something that was interesting is like I have seen in other people's charts or other people's birthdays and dates and all that fun stuff. Like sometimes people need someone else to plant the opportunity or the seed. Your chart really says you create the opportunity yourself.
Mhm.
Like that was actually really cool. I thought like you are the spark, the idea. Like you see a need, you feel a need, and it's you. If you're like, okay, I think this needs to happen, you are going to be the one to go and do it. Like you don't need someone else to do it for you, for it to really flourish for you. So
Mm,
I thought
that's
that was cool.
cool. Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then money and success. Ooh, fun. For you, the vibes is just security. So security matters. And like for you, it's not as much as wealth for status. It's wealth for safety, home, family, your future. So like what was really interesting is like based on some of it, it's like the way the chart played out, it looks like you end up surrounding yourself with people who like want money. And so like because they have such a desire for money and like they're very focused on money, it can come through like you're bougie. And I mean, you can be, there's nothing wrong with being bougie, but like really in the core self, you're looking for wealth for safety and stability, not to be bougie. Like that's your desire isn't to be out here
Right. Yeah.
owning Trump towers or something. You know, I don't know. I just
Well,
don't even know why that came to me.
yeah, it's really true. And I've worked over the years to change my vibration and belief structure around money and wealth.
Mhm.
And I don't know what my chart says, but I, this was several months ago, and I've keep having this intuition from my guides. I wrote down in a journal so I wouldn't forget that basically I would be coming into larger amounts of money. And I wrote that I need to have discernment around sharing because I am supposed to share, but I have to share in the right way
Mm.
or the money will be gone as quickly as it came. So basically, what I was told was like, you're going to be gifted because you will have the intuition on where it needs to go, who it needs to go to, how it needs to help. It's bigger than me. I'm just the facilitator. And I'm
That's
gonna buy
cool.
a Mercedes too, but other than that,
I'm like, well, I had a joke, but I was like,
I
okay, all
mean, I
right,
get
well,
to
yeah.
use some of it.
Now you're making the jokes. So my birth chart actually says I come into money through other people. So I'm not joking. So I'm dead ass serious. And I just I'm laughing because and actually so this guy and I can this reminds me of like the opportunity for yourself. I even paid for another person to read my chart because I like to hear other people's perspectives. You
Yeah,
know, I don't know.
absolutely.
We're all blinded by ourselves, right? And
Yes.
so like I want to hear what other people have to say and I love I like to spend my money in this community. I don't know, that's just what I like. So, I had my reading done and I laughed so hard because she's like, "Yeah, you can do this. You can build wealth. You can build wealth, but you've got to let other people help you. You have to other people have to help you. Like you build wealth through other people. Like you have access to it, but it has to be through people and partnerships and collaborations." And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I want to do it myself. And that's like what I'm supposed to unlearn is
Yeah,
to not do it myself. And so when I was reading yours, it's like, do it yourself. I'm like, well, fuck, I want to do it myself. Like, so anyways, that's what's funny. But
that's
anyways,
funny.
yeah, so I don't know, that's what it said. Call my girl up. I got the video. I have proof. Oh, that's funny. I got the proof. But yeah, so on the lines of money and success in the shadow side, if you have an instability around that, it could, and if instability like does creep in, it could look like over explaining or overthinking, the scarcity wounds, or even like just holding too tightly, like holding on too
Mhm.
much. So, like,
Yeah.
this is something that I've also worked on too is like, what's the healthy relationship with money, right? Like, when you overspend or you or do this or do that and you're abusing it, that is abuse, but also holding too tightly can be abuse to
Mhm.
money and like you're restricting flow. And you've shared the COVID story where
Yeah.
when you were restricted with money, what happened. And so like those are all key things. And I thought that that was really interesting too. Also, take it as you wish. Success comes when emotional security stops depending on your bank balance. So instead of the bank balance giving the emotional security, you build the emotional security, and then the bank balance grows.
Mm,
So
okay.
the money doesn't give you the security. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, it does.
It comes within yourself, then the money comes.
And then the money comes. Yeah, that
Mhm.
does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because everything is a reflection of your internal energy body, right? Your
yeah,
emotional. Yeah, makes complete sense.
yeah. So that was cool.
That's really
Um,
cool.
yeah, and then like this is just for fun too, like jobs. that you could do based on your chart and your birthday and everything. Um, Communication matters, helping other people, sales, advising, community building, teaching, coaching. But the basic core energy of it is the ability to make people feel understood. And so, like, whatever that looks like, whether that's in a corporate role or in the metaphysical world or whatever, whatever. But the whatever you're doing work in quotations, right? Like job, whatever. If you're not fulfilling the need to make people feel understood, you're off. It's just not going to flow. Like the right career for you is being in that. And it makes sense. And like seeing your work history where you've
Yep.
thrived have been
Complete
in
sense.
those types of
Yep.
positions. Yeah.
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 Even my role now, but,
Yeah.
everything I do is around that.
Yeah. You're solving a need or a
Yep.
pain point. I mean, that's the core of it, really.
Mhm.
And then for funsies, love and relationships. And I mean, it goes with any relationship, really. You are determined and assertive. Yes, ma'am, you are. With a mind of your own. Yep. Um, but you still crave depth. So when you're looking in relationships or you're looking for partnerships, you want that depth, but you also crave understanding. You want them to understand you to like we give and take in relationships. And so you seek that level of understanding from others. You are very observant as in other placements, even in relationships. And so you call out or clear the air if something isn't right. So like you're like, hey, this isn't vibes. But you do admire very strong and independent people. So if you look at relationships, both romantic friendships, partnerships of any sort, you could be more drawn to people who are strong, independent type people more than not. And I think that
Yeah.
checks when I look at,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
You don't want codependency. Yeah, you want these people
No.
to like be doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That is absolutely so true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the core of the reading, your soul lesson is that strength and sensitivity are not opposites. You don't have to choose between softness and power or intuition and ambition. Your success and compassion come when you use those together. All this
Mhm.
comes when it's together. So like you can have success and be compassionate. You can use your intuition, but also still be ambitious. You can be soft and still hold power. Like they're not one or the other, they're one and the same. And you can have the duality of both. And that holding strength and sensitivity, like none of that's different from one the other. And I thought that was really interesting because I think like almost maybe even a year ago, you had shared really learning to hold softness and power. And so I thought that was fun. I was like, how cool.
Yeah.
So like that is like your soul lesson. That's what you're here to learn is I mean, I don't know, you know what you're here to learn, but like
No.
based on this reading for entertainment purposes, it says that you're here to learn that they're not opposites. This stuff's one and the same for you.
Yeah, they can both be there. I think
Yeah.
that's very much true, and you're right, I did talk about that,
Mhm.
especially, like, bringing that into my workplace and not being afraid of it, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's been good.
Yeah.
That's so
So
interesting, I just wrote down a couple of things because 2 water signs are, like that maybe that's why I'm obsessed with water. Like, just the other night, Sunday, I went up to the lake. I just felt like
mhm.
I just had to put my feet in a big body of water to get some shit out of
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
And my good friend went with me, and we sat on the little dock with our feet in the water for, like, an hour and just talked, and I could feel it releasing,
Mhm.
out of my body. And it was really cool because I don't know, I was just so present. We saw these cool cranes, and a duck was there, and fish were jumping, and we had a great conversation, and yeah. I use water all the time, so
Yeah,
everything you said makes complete sense.
you're also a Scorpio rising. So, like, your rising sign is your outward identity, which is also a water sign. So you have a lot of water in your
I have a
chart.
lot of
So it
water.
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. And, you talked a little bit about courage. Today it was interesting. We have a team, what I call an offsite every 2 months where the entire team comes together for the day and we're kind of strategizing what
Mhm.
we're working on and
Yeah.
everything. And today, they had made the agenda. Our team builder was show and tell. I thought was awesome because I haven't thought about
That's
show and tell since grade school. And this morning I kept sitting there like, what am I going to take? I was like, oh, do I take some a crystal? Am I take? I just and all of a sudden it was like, take some of your cards. I always have card decks,
yeah.
but I was like, man, will they think I'm so weird? And I was like, no, I'm taking my dragon cards. I don't care.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to him about the dragon cards, and it turned out so great. Like, I was going to just say if anybody wanted to draw their own card, they could, but the whole team said, "Well, let's draw a card that represents our team." So I
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, put it up to my heart, laid them all out, called on one of the marketing associates that I just felt, and he drew, like it was like the perfect card for the entire team to hear. And
That's
it
cool.
turned out really cool, but I could have not used my courage and copped out of
Mhm.
what I knew was meant to do, and it sparked just some really fun conversations that wouldn't
I
have
love
happened
that.
without it. So, I love
That's
that.
cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was awesome.
That's my 2 cents, folks.
That'd be cool. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I
do
could
too.
do a
I think it'd be fun.
reading, but you know what I mean, like, with your
Yeah, well,
astrology,
that
that'd
I'm
be
over
cool.
here like,
Yeah,
I'll do the reading.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
but no,
could
I
do
could do
that. We
my
could do
own.
that on one too with, see what Metatron has to say, so.
Yeah,
Alright. Well, until next time, keep your vibrations way high.
and stay sassy.
Stay authentic.
Yeah, that's where